Hello everybody and welcome to another video. This is Voorhees Retro 81, and what I'm going to try and do here is a bumper video response to the fantastic Gull Payne. And he's just uploaded recently a bunch of videos about, you know, just general sort of gaming, you know, personal gaming history and such like. And I thought they'd be interesting to answer. Firstly, he asked, at what point did you start gaming? And so the first game I ever played was a 1984 Commodore 64 game called Alf in the Colour Caves, which was a really fun sort of... It was kind of a cross between like a simplistic arcade game, and it was supposed to be kind of like an educational title, but I don't really understand how it was really educational in any way, shape or form, other than, like, you know, the old adage of, oh, well, it improves your hand-eye coordination and your spatial awareness, which I think is kind of true, actually, because I've discovered that through the years I seem to have better spatial awareness than my parents, which is a bit random, but I don't know whether that's because I'm a gamer or that's because I'm genetically disposed to have better spatial awareness. But that's another discussion for another video. So it was kind of like it was very similar to the sort of arcade games of the time, where you'd have a sort of cute character and a sort of single screen setup, and you'd just do the same thing every single level, and it would get slightly harder and harder and harder. And so basically Alf was this little guy who was like a cute head on top of two little legs, and he would dance at the top of the screen. And when you started the game, you had to get him through the colour caves, which were a bunch of little spaces that had different shaped pipes between them, and you had to avoid things called either mugglewumps or mugwumps. I can't remember what the name was. I was actually reading up on this the other night to do this video, but I've unfortunately forgotten that name. But they were kind of basically little roving pairs of eyeballs that wandered around the stage, and if you hit one of those, you got sent up one level. And, you know, when you went through these pipes, they made Alf make funny noises and go different shapes. Like, you know, there was one where he'd sort of melt and go blue, 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 down and sort of zigzag, and another one twirled him around and then spat him out into the other thing. And it was just a fun game. It wasn't very well received because it was, you know, pseudo-educational, and it doesn't really have much of a gameplay loop. It does get harder each time you beat it, but I don't remember it getting so hard it was challenging at any point or anything like that, and there's no kind of score to attack or whatever. So for somebody who was actually looking for a game as opposed to sort of a diversion, it maybe wasn't up to much. But it had really nice music, really nice animation, and it was really colourful. And, you know, ultimately when you're like 4 years old or whatever, what more do you want? And that kind of... So we would sort of generically play, you know, whatever games were available to us. Now there were two games that cemented me going, like, I want to play video games and I want to make a hobby of this. The first one is Hewson's Synapse. Now I cannot remember when that came out, but I distinctly remember when my dad brought that home, sitting cross-legged and playing the game and loving it. And that was the first real, well, it wasn't the first shoot 'em up I ever played, but it was the first kind of shoot 'em up with like real clear sort of level progression and power-ups and such like that I'd ever played. Before that I'd played kind of like Uridium, but I wasn't very good at Uridium. I didn't really take to it, but also Uridium is kind of like one of those games that's like, it's not got progression, you know, the levels don't change as you beat them. It's more like, you know, you play harder versions of the same level and they're in different colours, that kind of thing. And yeah, so that was kind of like the game that cemented my love of shooters. And it also cemented my love of chiptune music, because Synapse has just such a wonderful title screen soundtrack. You know, once you're done with this video, definitely go and search that music out and have a listen to it. But that game, along with the arcade version of Golden Axe, were the games that really made me go, "Wow, this is a and the Commodore 64 overall as a system were the points where I really got into gaming, and I really went, wow, this is really cool. We've got this thing, and you can buy new things for it that enable you to play new games for it. You're not just stuck playing the same game like you are when you play like your little LCD handheld or whatever. It was just kind of like, that was the point where it was like, wow, mind blown. I've got to do this, I've got, and that was also the start of me picking up games. And for me, it kind of feels like that's what it is, rather than like a sort of inverted commas collecting thing. Because I don't. If I enjoy something, I keep hold of it. But generally speaking, one of the things that I pick up the games that that intrigue me. When I have an active system, or whether I've got an inactive system, regardless, I've never been one of those kind of people who these are the games you've got to own. Like, a lot of the time when people come round, and they look through like the games that I do have, they're kind of like, oh, I can't believe you got this. Well, some of them are kind of like, a bit like, but you don't have this, such and such. I met a guy recently, and we got talking about the PlayStation 2, and I was like, he was like, oh, I really like the PlayStation 2, I love the Crash Bandicoot game and Sly Raccoon on it, and I said, oh, I've never played those, and I swear to God, the guy acted like I'd shot his cat or something. But people are strange like that, but it's just I always kind of have like the games that I'm interested in playing, and if I'm interested in playing something, I hunt it to the ends of the earth. But I don't really view myself as like a collector, because like I think there's much more forethought goes into like collecting than what I do, which is more like I want to play this game, and like where can I pick this game up? Is it realistic that I can pick this game up? That. And I don't like the hunt. I think if you're going to be a collector, you have to like the hunt, and I hate the hunt. I hate all the looking around places. I hate, picking up, I hate buying something off of eBay and it comes and it's got wrecked, or like the guy, intentionally misadvertised it, or etc., etc. I hate all that. So, like, I don't enjoy, like, the process of trying to find stuff. I find it really frustrating, and I think, like, people that I watch that are real collectors, like, and that I define as collectors, like, they're like that hunt is as much part of the process as it is getting the game home and and playing it. Whereas for me, it's like kind of a means to an end to get hold of the game when I'm trying to get hold of something for a system that's gone, that's gone cold, kind of thing. So. Yeah, but that's definitely, when I first played Synapse and Golden Axe, that was the point where I went, right, I really like gaming, and I'm gonna dedicate, part of my life to it as a hobby, seeking out games and enjoying playing them, and, trying to get as far as I can, or trying to get the best score I can, or whatever. I really enjoy this, and I'm going to keep on doing this. Those were like the game points. Now the third thing, and this kind of ties into the collector thing, is about special editions. So Gull was talking about, whether you pick up collector's editions and what your relationship with collector's editions is and such like. For me, I will pick up the odd collector's edition, but I only ever get collector's editions for one of two reasons. One is one that Gull covered off on, and I completely agree with, is if it's exactly the same amount of money for a collector's special edition and a non-collector's special edition, well, you might as well get the one that's got more stuff in it. Just for value's sake. So I've got a few games where I've done that, where I've just like, and some games like the only version you can get is the special edition, but the special edition isn't that expensive because it's the only version. You know, it's not like a limited edition type thing. And I'm not going to go down the route of talking about limited special editions or such like, because we'd be here for days. And as I can see, I've only got like three more minutes to talk on this vlog. But the other reason that I'll pick up a special edition is because I really like a game, and there is a special edition, and it's affordable. And what I'll normally do is I'll pick that up, and it'll replace my non-special edition, and I'll just move the not standard edition on. And normally those games are very, individual to me. They're not, I don't do that, but I do that based on the games that I really enjoy. There's also some instances where it's been a combined thing, like when I've got what's it called? I've got the collector's edition of Dragon Age Origins, and I picked that up for dual reasons. I wanted to get Dragon Age on the 360 because I had it and played it through on the PC, but the PC version is massively unstable. So anybody who's a PC gamer knows what we're talking about here, and knows that PC games, they don't always work with up-to-date versions of Windows that are after they were released. That's got better than it used to be when you had DOS and Windows 95 and such like, where games would just cross their arms and not play with you at all. But frequently Windows 10 updates knock out games that were previously working and stuff like that, and I thought, I don't want to end up in a situation where I can't play Dragon Age, because I've done about 2 or 3 runs at Dragon Age just on the PC version. So I wanted to get a 360 version that I could just pop in the 360 and run, and it's a very affordable game. And I don't like to talk about prices and stuff like that. I think it's a bit kind of crass, but it wasn't a lot of money. It's a fairly common game, and even the collector's edition is fairly common used. And I just thought, well, get the collector's edition. It's one of your favourite games. It's worth having like the sort of bolstered version, and then that if Windows 10 knocks out Dragon Age Origins on its next creators update or whatever, or causes an even worse memory leak that causes even worse crashes than Dragon Age Origins already has, well, it doesn't matter, because you've got Dragon Age Origins on a console, and you can just fire up your console, shove it in the disk drive, and away you go. I've not even got the worry there of having to move the original on, because the original's just a digital download as it is. So yeah, that's where I touch off on collector's editions of stuff. For me, they're a way of getting a nice version of a game I already really enjoy, rather than or they're just I might as well pick up the special edition because it's exactly the same price as the regular edition. It's not a kind of prestige, or it's not a kind of something that I collect. I don't do anything like limited run or East Asia soft or whatever. I just want. I'm always in the situation of when I'm going to pick up a game, I just want to play the game. That's my basics. I want to play the game, and I want it to be affordable. So there you go, 3 in 1. Would you believe it? I hope you're all doing well, and I hope you're staying safe, and take care. Thanks for watching, and peace out.